Hey, what's up guys, Daniel here in Tech Studio. The Propella 7S is one of the lightest e-bikes that you can get, but is lightness enough to justify its $1,000 price? Let's get into it. Now, before I get started, a huge thanks to Propella for sending me this e-bike. Use the link in the description to get yours today. And while you're down there, if you could toss me a like and a subscribe, it'd really help YouTube notice my videos. You can also buy me a coffee if you want to. Thanks. So in the Propella 7S e-bike, we have, well, first and foremost, this is one of the lightest e-bikes out there at 37 pounds, which kind of sounds like a lot, but that electric XP 3.0 I just reviewed is 64 pounds. And folks, that's not even as heavy as these things get. These e-bikes can get up to 100 pounds or more. The 7S is basically light as a feather, and you can definitely feel that difference out on the road, but we'll get to that in a second. Second thing you should know, this is a class 1 e-bike, meaning there is no throttle. Pedal assist only at a max speed of 20 miles an hour. So if you're looking for class 2 or class 3 e-bike with a throttle, either a thumb or a twisty, this one ain't it. Now, other than that, we have a 250 watt hour removable battery pack. Conveniently looks like a water bottle, but that is indeed the battery. And it's pretty quick charging, only takes 2.5 hours to charge from 0 to 100. And of course, our propulsion is powered by a 400 watt peak hub motor. Sounds kind of low, but because this thing is so light, it's actually not as bad as it sounds. It's called the 7S because it has a Shimano 7-speed drivetrain. We have mechanical disc brakes that are plenty strong over my few weeks of testing. We have 5 levels of pedal assist, and range is 20 to 40 miles. Of course, you can get another battery and hot swap them to extend your range. And finally, we have a quick release front wheel, so traveling is pretty easy with the e-bike. Pop quiz hotshot.
Pop quiz hotshot.
You're playing Pictionary and you gotta draw a bicycle in 10 seconds.
What do you do?
You're probably gonna draw a 7S because the 7S silhouette is a traditional bare bones bicycle. 2 wheels and a triangular frame. Pretty simple. I love the blue accents in the wheels and around the bike. The interface is really simple and even has a clock, which is how you know this is a commuter bike, so you can always know how late you're gonna be. I like that the battery looks like a water bottle and it's where a water bottle would be. Also, you can check the battery level quick with the button on the top. Honestly, it's simplicity like at its finest. It's like a sleeper build, you know? Like if you saw this roll past you, you probably wouldn't even notice that it's an e-bike. Overall, it's a very elegant and low-key e-bike. The ride quality is surprisingly comfortable for a rigid body bike, as there is no suspension here. The front end is basically a tuning fork. Even so, I honestly expected much worse, but it's not bad. Switching gears is quick and effortless with separate up and down levers. The pedal assist is smooth and immediate. I'm not left waiting a couple of seconds for the assist to kick in. It's pretty linear. Being light has lots of advantages, like being agile, which is essential for city commuting. And you don't need such a powerful motor if the bike is super light. Hills, though, are quite tough, but I am a chunky boy, so I can't say it's totally the bike's fault. Still, kind of wish we had at least a 500 watt motor here. And remember, this has no throttle, so if you run out of juice on a hill, you better be in first gear and get to pedaling. So if you live in a hilly city like San Francisco, you're gonna get a lot of exercise. Thankfully though, the brakes are solid and instill confidence that I won't die at the bottom of a hill. I will say I do miss having a throttle sometimes, but it's kind of refreshing to have to pedal to move yourself forward like, you know, like a bike. You know, if you love bikes and love the act of bicycling, then this is going to be a real treat for you. Or if you're, you know, a chunky boy like me and pure bicycling is kind of hard, then this is a wonderful experience. It kind of takes e-biking back to its roots in a way. No throttle, no suspension, just you and the bike working together as one. I imagine it's the car equivalent of driving a manual transmission. And because this thing is so light, it feels agile, like eager. There's a confidence you have when you're riding it. Since it's not being weighed down by itself, the only limits you have is really, well, yourself. I should also mention this is a road-only bike, so if you're gonna go off-road, like, I don't know, don't, I guess. Do so at your own risk. Honestly, as it is, I don't have any complaints. But when I look at its $1,000 price tag, I gotta reevaluate and look at what's missing. Okay, so as a commuter and everyday bike, a headlight would have been nice. Tail lights, maybe a bell too, maybe even a back rack. I mean, this is a road-only commuter bike meant to share the road with traffic, so I'm kind of surprised that these things are missing, especially at this price. Of course, you can buy these things separately, but should that really be a thing at this price point? So is the Propella 7S e-bike worth it? After living with it for a few weeks, I gotta say, yeah, it's pretty great. It's funny because I just reviewed the electric XP 3.0, and that bike is the polar opposite of the 7S in quite literally every single way. Big, heavy, folding, fat tire, off-road capable, class 3 e-bike with a throttle. They're nearly like two sides of a spectrum here. And yet, they will both achieve the same thing, you'll get to where you need to go in two totally different ways. So you need to know what you're looking for in an e-bike. And honestly, it's easy to forget that this is even an e-bike, which is, I don't know, either a good or bad thing depending on what you're looking for. Power delivery is smooth and strong. Being light means that the motor can focus on pulling you instead of sharing the load with itself. For example, stopping while going uphill with the electric bike is a dangerous game because it will roll backwards, which means a hand on the brake at all times. I don't get that sense of dread on the 7S. If anything, I feel more confident riding the 7S. I actually let a couple friends borrow it for a while and they loved it. They echoed my sentiments, comfortable, unbelievably light, and more importantly, something they are considering buying. So if you're looking for a sleeper build commuter e-bike, I say this is definitely one to put at the top of your list. I highly recommend it. All right, so let me know what you guys think of the Propella 7S e-bike in not the description, the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.